All right, welcome back. We're moving on to learning objective 4 now, and we may, in fact, get through 4 or 5 and at least part of 6 for this chapter. In my particular class, I cut this chapter a little bit short due to time constraints. You can look elsewhere on my channel and find some additional videos with completely different questions that are also related to activity-based costing. Some of those are a little bit more complex than what we've gone through in this set of videos. So, what is, back to a little bit of theory here. And so, learning objective 4 starts off with question number 16 on our handout. And it says, activity-based costing is a technique for more precisely measuring the cost and profitability of. Okay, so this is covered in learning objective 4 for the textbook that I'm using, but we also covered this in the very beginning. In a way, we covered this in the very beginning video for this chapter because we were talking about cost objects. And so what we're trying to do is establish, what is the cost, the total cost of a cost object. And so activity-based costing is merely a way to do that a little bit more accurately. So if we said traditional-based costing is a way to measure cost and profitability, our answers are not going to change. Now it says, in our case, the important thing it says is for more precisely measuring the cost and profitability of what? Products? Absolutely. Customers? Yes. We'll get to that a little bit more in learning objective 6. Distribution channels. So distribution channel is a type of cost, and this is something that a company needs to look at. This is how we are distributing our product. Is that the most effective way? Well, whether it is or whether it isn't, there's a cost associated with it. So our answer is going to be answer choice D, all of the above. It helps us with measuring the cost and then related profitability for all of those items. Okay. So question 17 looks like we had a little bit of a spacing issue here, but I think we can get through it. It says, although adding more activity cost pools to an activity-based costing system may improve the precision of product costing, okay, and it will, this increase in precision must be judged against the cost of the product, the price of the product, the cost of developing and maintaining the additional cost pools, and then all of the above. So a little bit of background. I wanted to show you something in the PowerPoint, and I'll have to scroll to get there quite a bit. But when I get there, it'll maybe we can kind of bring this home a little bit. Okay, should have had this ready in advance, but that's all right. And this slide right here will do just fine. So, we have a comparison in this little PowerPoint example where we use traditional, departmental, and activity-based costing for 2 drink products. And we found that there was, this first product here with under activity-based costing, our overhead was $149 more. Okay, and for this other product, it went down $149. So $149 is $149. Well, $149 for what? This is actually for a batch of 800 gallons. So we would say, okay, I made 800 gallons of this drink, and that works out to 18.6 cents a gallon. But maybe my drinks are are 16 ounces, gallons 128 ounces. So my individual units are about 1/8 of a gallon. So I divide that figure by 8, and I come up with 2.3 cents. So my total difference between traditional costing and activity-based costing, again, you didn't get to see all the slides here, but we're making batches of these energy drinks, which is a type of process costing. Each batch was 800 gallons. For that 800 gallons, activity-based costing got us $149 more accuracy for each product. And that works out on a per unit basis to 2.3 cents. Okay, so, you know, that's fine and dandy and everything. But the question kind of becomes, do we need that level of accuracy? And so that's going to depend on, you know, what we're selling this product for, what our costs are in the product, and so forth. We have a product that we're selling for $2,500 a unit, and we find out that activity-based costing gives us more accurate product pricing to the tune of, you know, 25 cents a unit. Chances are the extra precision that we get didn't help. However, if we're getting, you know, if that swings and we're saying, okay, you know, the difference between activity-based costing and traditional costing is like $100 a unit, well, now that's probably going to matter on a $2,500 item. So cost of the product is going to matter, because the cost, and then it says B, the price of the product, well, that's going to matter too, because most models or product pricing, sure, it's based on demand, but at an absolute minimum, we're going to price our product more than what our total cost is, right? Unless we're in a distress type situation. So A and B are true, so that tells us immediately that it has to be D. But notice it says C, the cost of developing and maintaining the additional cost pools. Activity-based costing is a lot of work, and it is a more costly, complex process. So if we're going to do this, the accuracy that we get has to be weighed against the additional cost that we're going to incur just by utilizing the approach. So our answer is, in fact, all of the above. Got a couple more questions here, and then I think we've got one question that will be left over that we'll do in a separate video. Let's see here, learning objective 5. It says right here, number 18, activity-based costing is useful for product costing, but traditional costing is superior for customer profitability. So we'll call this, for those of you in one of the classes, we'll call this learning objective 5 and 6. And then we'll kind of do the same thing for this one here. This actually covers a couple of those learning objectives. For the rest of you, you don't care probably. So it says, is this a true statement or a false statement? So is activity-based costing useful for product costing? Yes, it is. But traditional costing is superior for customer profitability, or for a better way to word that is for determining customer profitability. And so if we, you know, whether we're talking about customer profitability, product profitability, division profitability, it doesn't really matter here. This is a false statement. Activity-based costing is going to give us more product costing information, and as such, it's going to, by extension, give us more accurate information as it pertains to profitability. Okay. Question number 19 says, if products are being sold to customers A and B above cost, and the company is earning a profit, then customers A and B must both be profitable. So what we're saying here is we've got two customers, and we have our revenues and we have our expenses for those customers, and at the end of it all, we made a profit. Does that mean that both customers were profitable? The answer is no. It does not mean that. Now, that could very well be the case, but we can't guarantee that that's the truth. It could just be that, the first customer was profitable by a larger amount than the second customer was unprofitable. Okay, so we still have a small pot of gold at the end. So this is actually a false statement. You may recall we had a question earlier in the handout. Let's see here, I guess it's number 16, isn't it? And if you look up here at number 16, answer choice B is customer. So we can use activity-based costing to determine profitability for customers. All right. Somewhat related question, number 20 says, which of the following is not a reason for banks to use activity-based costing? And so we've got 4 answer choices: to determine amounts charged to customers for services provided, to determine service quality, to determine profitability of services provided, and then D, all of the above. Okay, so think about that for just a moment. All right. Okay, in this particular case, it is not all of the above. So that's not going to be the right answer. We would absolutely, we could use activity-based costing to determine amounts charged to customers for services. Generally, and so this is the cost component that they're alluding to here. We have a cost of providing services in a banking setting, and then we have a markup on those costs. So A is a good answer. And then I want to drop down to C, to determine profitability of services provided. This is a revenue and cost item. In other words, we've got our total costs that activity-based costing helped us generate, and then we have our revenue based on that markup. And that is a component of profitability. Now, there's more to it than that, but A and C are both good. And it says, which is not a reason, it's to determine service quality. Now, you could say that sometimes enhanced quality comes with it extra cost. Okay, so that's true, but that doesn't have anything to do with activity-based costing, right? That's just we're putting more effort in or less effort in. We might put less effort in to cut costs or more effort in, and that ends up driving costs. But that has actually nothing to do with activity-based costing. All right, so we're almost there. There's only one more question for this topic, and we will get to that immediately.